Welcome to another episode of the Y Factor. This is a chat room session. Let's introduce the panel.
Cliff Brown,
Chris Wills,
Forrest Godwin,
Antonio Jefferson.
All right. As always, we're going to talk about relationships and the differences that men and women, opinions that men and women have. Let's start out with the first question. Fellas, if a woman chases you, does that kind of deter your interest from her?
No.
And if so, why?
No.
No.
No?
Well, it's fun.
it depends on how she chasing.
Okay, well, tell me, Chris.
I mean, there's chasing, hello, how you doing, taking the initiative and standing outside your house, sneaking behind bushes. I mean, it depends on the level of the chasing that determines whether or not it's a compliment or something you need to run from.
Why would she be standing outside?
Fast forwarded to the bushes already. That's like a third date. You already.
Not necessarily, not nowadays.
And also what she look like. Because she can stand outside my window. So it depends on what she look like.
No.
What she look like.
So
If you feeling it,
well, let me ask you this then.
if you feeling it.
I had this conversation today with somebody in the office. What is the first attraction? Because he put on Facebook that he would love for women to get past his physical and just get to know him. And it's hard for him to meet women because all they see is the physical, and they never get to know the true him.
That's
Now,
a
I
two-way.
understood what he meant by it.
But that's a two-way street though. Because
How-
either you think you too cute or they think you too ugly.
Right.
So you got to figure out which side of the street he coming from.
So yeah, that's if
Now,
it's the beast, then yeah,
Right.
But
past the physical.
here's what I told him. Unless unless you're in an environment where you can intermingle with this person, and that person can get to know you, not the physical, not that eye candy.
Right.
It'll probably never happen that way unless you meet one of them women that's just beyond the looks. Because the first attraction, for the 99% of the time, nothing is 100%, nothing is absolute. But 99% of the time, the first attraction is a physical attraction.
Well, I gotta say, in that situation, he has to have no depth. There's no way you can have a conversation with someone and they can never get past
That's
what you
what
have
I'm
going
thinking.
on physically.
Right, exactly.
There's just no way that can happen. If that's the case, this is nothing to you.
Right.
There really is
You
nothing
said
to
there's
you.
no way
nothing
to
to
get
get
past how you
past.
look physically.
If I can't get past what a woman has going on physically, there's no depth.
Exactly.
She's not gonna be around long anyway. So
Well, that's not true.
I'm with you.
I disagree
with
because
you.
here's why I disagree. Say if you work in an office setting
Sure.
with this
Okay.
person, right? And this person is not attracted to you at all,
Nope.
right?
Okay.
However, you interact with this person every day. You actually get the opportunity to know this person.
Yep.
Don't matter.
You're
Now,
right.
It doesn't matter.
He's right.
No one.
But that
No
goes
one.
back to what I said. There's
It
depth.
doesn't
right.
matter if I'm just working with her.
Let me
if
say
I'm
this.
just- if
It don't
I'm
matter
just-
to you.
No, if I'm just working with her, then you're right. If I'm just working with her, then okay, I'm getting to know her in a professional level. But if I'm looking for somebody I'm trying to talk to or hang out with after work
what
and
you
I'm not
saying was-
attracted to her,
So-
it doesn't matter how nice the person. I'm setting myself up.
So what you're
For
telling me
trouble
is you've
if
never
I-
had a personal
That's
conversation
what I'm
with a
about to
coworker.
No, but that's at work. I mean, you have discussions
Okay.
at work. You have conversations across tables. I'm talking about I go up to her and I figure out which eye I'm looking at, and I go, "Hey, would you like to go to the happy hour?"
I'm over here.
You know.
By the way, I'm over here. I got
There's
you.
totally different. No.
So you,
No,
so
that-
you
that
okay?
goes
So you
back to
never
what I
had
said.
you never
There's
had
depth.
somebody that hung around in your circle that you didn't think was attractive, ever in your life that you might have just crept off once. What?
No.
Oh, that's crazy. I would not even
you know,
believe
I-
that. I wouldn't even believe that. I think everybody kind of went through
I
that.
mean, no.
Somebody you've been with that you were like, why did I do that?
No, I
I
agree
mean,
with
but
Forrest.
that's not somebody that was in my circle. That's just somebody I woke up and said, "Why did I do that?"
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but I'm talking
not-
about, I'm
but
just
again,
saying,
that's not
I'm
the
just
same
saying, you had
thing.
somebody,
That's what I'm saying. That's
somebody that
different.
you met or whatever
There's-
and have been
when
around like you
somebody's
said.
around your circle and you're not attracted to them, and you sit up there and try to talk
Well-
to them anyway, you're setting yourself up for.
Okay.
Right, but now,
Well,
but the
here-
question was,
There
can
you
you
go.
get past the physical?
That's
You
how-
can.
So
You can.
here's what I'm saying with the
That's
physical.
You can.
What he said is 100. I'm gonna say I'm
Right.
100% correct, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Yep.
I don't care how fine she is. the first conversation we have, there has to be something more than I'm just fine. So that means if I can't get beyond your looks, guess what? There's nothing behind your looks to find.
Yeah.
It's empty. It's empty. If after one conversation, I walk away from the table going, now I may be thinking, my God, she fat, she stacked. But in my mind, I got to be thinking there's something intellectual, something spiritual, something mental beyond that body.
So
if not, there's nothing to find.
But that's right now.
Yeah.
But no, but that,
I mean, that's in your life right now.
No, that's always
the case.
It couldn't have been that way from teenager on and
No,
now.
but
You thought
no,
that.
it is.
No, it's not.
Because you
And
don't
I'm
spend
not saying
time with them.
nah,
Look,
that don't
here-
mean-
here's the
hold on.
conversation.
Let me say this. That don't mean we was looking for it.
Yeah,
That don't
I'm just saying.
You see what I mean? I may have been at 16, 17, I may have been thinking, wow, that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But still, in one conversation, I knew whether she was dumb or whether she wasn't.
But
At
that
16.
still wouldn't change the fact of something going down.
Because that wasn't what I was looking
That's
for.
not the question, though.
See,
I
that's
I know,
not
I'm
the
just saying.
question.
I'm just saying.
We're
yeah,
going to
I'm
move
saying.
on.
that's not the
The
question.
beautiful thing about
just
this
saying.
show, we can all agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's when
So you saying the conversation is what keeps you into it? I'm
Is
just-
there anything a woman can do
That don't matter though.
that would make you say, you know what, you're a chaser, as someone like to call us hunters, right? You're a hunter. You meet a woman, is there anything a woman can do that will make you absolutely fall head over heels in love with her? Other than the obvious.
You mean
I don't know
up
that
front? You mean up front?
I think
Period.
that's situational.
Period.
I don't know that you can say
Right.
there's an item.
Oh,
You know, it depends on what you want, what you've had before,
Well,
and
isn't that
what's
a-
going on at the time,
well,
what you
well,
need.
Okay, if it's situational, give me a situation. That's why I asked the question.
Let me give you my opinion on it. That's a myth. Because we want to think that love is this great emotional roller coaster and you see it and she got stars flying in. That ain't true. After that initial physical attraction, which is normally what attracts you, because I'm sorry, I ain't never seen an ugly woman walk up to her and said, hey, you're ugly, I don't think you're attractive, but I want to take you out. That's not the way the human psyche works. So
I agree.
once we get beyond that, it then gets down to an intellectual decision. Love ain't an emotional decision that you just make. So can she make me fall head over the heels? No. Because I'm going to have to put some thought into her character and the way she is. I need to talk to her to see if what she say lines up with what she does. So there's nothing she can do within the first couple of days, weeks, or months that's going to make me fall head over heels. She can make me place her on a high category because of her character and some things like that. So she can make me say, oh, she has potential, where this one only has late night potential. She actually may have wife potential. But that's not falling head over heels in love.
Chris, I know you got something.
I think it depends on the person, because if you know what you're looking for, if you've identified clearly the characteristics that you need in the person you're going to be with, and that person gives you those things, it may not be an immediate reaction, like you just like, oh, I'm falling, but it happens, and you find yourself in that space, in that feeling, but it takes a period of time. I don't think falling head over heels in any definition
I
is
don't
something
think
that
that was the
happens
question.
instant.
I don't think that was the
What was
question.
the
I didn't say
question?
nothing about falling head over heels. What I asked
You said,
was,
could they make you fall?
Is it something that a woman can do? I didn't say it had to be the day of, the next day, the next month. I just said.
Oh, I
so the
misunderstood.
question
I misunderstood the
Was there
question.
something that a woman could do that would make you fall in love with her? I didn't put a time frame on it. I just asked the question.
I think
I think,
Y'all getting too
I
deep.
think the
I think
only
that
way
is
that can
ridiculous.
happen, I think the only way that can happen is that's your first time dating. Like being, like say you're a teenager and your first time dating somebody. That can happen. Once you live life and you've been in and out of relationships, I don't think nobody fully falling all the way over. It ain't gonna
I
happen.
think it's the other way around. I think it's after you've experienced
I don't think
different
so.
people that you know what love is. That's when you fall into
I mean,
it.
you still
even
don't
though you
fall,
know
it's
it,
not
even though
ahead
you
of
know it, you always gonna have some kind of
got
guard
that
on your
guard.
You know
heart.
what? I don't.
Not necessarily.
I never seen
Then you haven't healed from your past, if that's
People,
the case.
I mean, people say that, but nobody will.
No,
I don't
I'm
think
saying,
no
because
man ever
Listen,
fully gave their heart again.
Listen. I need y'all to work with me tonight, really.
I asked you a
I need
question.
y'all to work with me tonight because y'all keep sticking on to this time frame thing. I'm
But
not talking
it
about
can't
a time frame.
You
I'm
talking
just
about period.
asking-
No, you perfect. That's what I said.
Here's what my answer will be. Her character. The truth of her character could make me fall in love with her.
Okay.
The truth of her character.
Okay. Woo.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
All right. All right. The next question, since we're talking about love, how do you feel about a woman sharing her feelings towards you, meaning telling you she love you before you tell her you love her, or even before you even fall in love with her? Is that something that would make you run away? Is that something that make you step back, or as we say, fall back?
As long as she's not expecting me to say it back just because she said it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
If
that's
I'm
happened
not
to me
if I'm
before.
not there, I'm not saying it.
Okay.
So you can say it, thank you, but don't sit waiting for me to say it back just because you said it to me.
Okay.
But if it's not going nowhere, it would make me run. If I'm just in that relationship and I really don't see all that, and she said, I probably would run.
Even if it's built, even if it has the potential.
But you know,
If it had the potential, I wouldn't. If it had the potential, I probably wouldn't. But if it doesn't, and it's just me dating,
So you never told a woman you love her and didn't mean it?
never, never, ever.
there's no need to.
I ain't gonna tell that lie.
There's no need to.
I ain't never had to go
don't
through
have to
that.
anymore.
I ain't never had to
You
go
don't
through
have
that.
to- you don't have to do that.
I ain't have a problem in that department.
I mean, you got to look at
I ain't had a problem in that
Right.
department.
Chris, I ain't gonna tell that lie.
Everything already happens
He
now
just
before
got
we
finished
say it.
saying,
Right.
no
Come on,
man
how
can
fast
heal,
things
but
happen now
you
anyway.
can.
But if that's
Okay.
honestly how she feel, that's fine. And if I honestly feel
Side of my
that way about
opinion,
her,
baby.
we should be man enough to say it to her, whether she said to us. See, because the bottom line is, my love for her is not dependent upon her love of me.
You ain't trying to match.
You see what I mean?
Right,
so yeah,
right,
so
right.
yeah.
If it's
so
not there, it's not there.
It's not
Right.
there.
But sometimes you just gotta say it.
No, I don't believe in
No,
just saying.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, I don't believe in just saying.
I'm just joking. All right, well, let me ask you this.
Get you in trouble.
What is it about a woman? What is it about a
Have a
woman
cake
or
outside
the
the
woman in your life, or a woman in your life, that would make you, kind of like I asked this question before, but that will make you want to commit? Like, is it, do you want to commit to a woman that could be your best friend, confidant, great sex? Or could you commit to a woman that's your best friend, but that's not that great and big? Because you'll get a woman up here in the heartbeat.
This is not a
Women-
4 out of 5 dentist situation.
Exactly.
But I asked that question. Chris, is why I asked that question. I asked that question because you will get a woman who will say quick, and I know you've heard it before, sex ain't all that, it's overrated.
Yeah, that's
That's the typical woman line. I'm sorry.
It's typical woman lie.
Typical woman line and lie. It is. They'll say sex is overrated.
Yeah, that's if you
They'll
haven't
say
had
sex
it
is overrated.
with them.
Right.
I
And
think it's
that
overrated
it's
too.
not. It's important, but it's not the end all. How they say it? Because Tiger keeps saying it ain't the end all.
I must,
be all.
here's the
I must be
Whatever the
woman
hell
because
that
I think that sometimes.
Listen, this
It's
is
all-
the
it's
reality.
overrated.
The
It's
reality.
overrated.
I don't believe it. I think that number one, you do have to find somebody that you're best friends with, and that you can get along with. But the reality is, when it comes to sex, you really only got like a small window of time that is really, really good.
Yep.
So no, you gotta get it right. Because once you get past, like, think about it. Once
I disagree.
No, listen to me. Physiologically speaking, seriously, physiologically.
Y'all living in
once
this
women get into their
mysterious
50s,
world,
60s,
yo.
Think about it. Once you get into your 50s, 60s, whatever.
Preach, brother.
You gotta do other things.
Preach, brother.
You still go, men and women both.
Preach, brother.
There's, just things just
I'm
don't
not
work
near
the
50.
same.
Preach, brother.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
So now you gotta get
So
it
that-
all in right now while it's good.
Yep,
so that
he right.
everything's
Here's
then
my-
your best friend is
Yeah,
important.
my
brother, they got
theory.
AIDS now, though.
But as you get older, that stuff.
But
They have
here's my
AIDS.
theory.
Not AIDS. Not
But
the
I
big
understand what
brother.
you're saying.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying.
was confused.
Because once you're together, basically,
you.
the thought is
That's what they
diminished.
call-
Right.
The
Right,
sex
exactly.
activity.
Exactly.
So you need to be friends with that
So
person.
you can break a
Hey,
hip.
they have things that
anything
age
goes,
you.
you can't move.
I
arthritis,
can
you don't move the
add on
same
to what
way,
he's
that's the
saying.
same.
He making sense because when you with somebody for a long period of time and y'all loving each other and all that, as you get older, it diminishes down a little bit. You got to have something with that person for it to last.
But
If not, you just sitting there looking at each other like this on
Well,
board.
let me say this.
You like
about
your
that.
Kool-Aid? I
Even
like
if the-
mine.
Even if the best sex,
It's pudding
the
night.
best
Yeah.
sex will get old if the relationship is
Well,
based
that's
on
why I
nothing
said
but
Yeah,
best friends
yeah,
are first.
So yeah, so you have to have more
Mm-hmm.
to relationships
But you
than just
understand
sex.
this, though. Sex
But I
ain't-
want good sex too.
Sex ain't gonna have her push the wheelchair.
There you go, dog.
Sex ain't gonna have her walk behind you in the wheelchair.
Yes, sir.
Is it? Don't get me wrong. Is it important? Yes.
If your hips still working, Mike.
I'm saying it is, but we especially for women tend to think that's all men want. I personally don't think it's important, but it's not
No,
that
I did
important.
sandwich.
There's a lot of
I'm
more
with you on
things come before making love on my list.
Yep.
Because the bottom line is I can pay a prostitute if all I want is good sex. Let's just be blatant. That may be a little hard to swallow.
Or you can just
but it
stay
is
single.
what it is. I got a book full of women I can call if it's just sex. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can't bring more than sex to the table, you're gonna go on that same page with the rest of them that don't have anything but sex. So you have
Ain't
to
that
have
minister?
more to the table. It got to be more than just sex. Now, because the bottom line is, guess what? Two people gonna make it good if they know what they're doing anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Tell them what you want.
Go ahead, Chris. You good?
That
You
actually
got
makes
something
sense.
to say?
No, that's right. He on the point.
Yeah.
Boom.
How do you feel about a woman who's caught you cheating and will still continue to have a relationship with you? Do you consider her a weak woman, stupid, or is it just dumb love? Wow.
Depending on the situation.
There's some variables.
Now if you all out just like whatever, yeah,
If you
she's
Bill
stupid.
Clinton, then
Yeah. But if
Well,
it's
no,
something just
what you mean
pop
you
out
Bill
of one
Come on, man,
instant,
Bill Clinton.
He was stressed out.
His entire political career to build.
Think about it. If you're married, that's one thing. If you're married, that's one thing, because you should stay there and work
That's
it out,
true.
and so should that man.
That's true.
As a boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm gonna say this: feel free to stay, but understand that cheating boyfriend. Let me say this: that cheating boyfriend is probably going to be your cheating husband at some point in time. These things don't change much over time. So I don't fault her for staying. What I fault her for is staying, and then when he cheat when she get married.
You said
she get shocked.
if you're married, but if my aunt had a mustache, she'd be my uncle.
Right.
But the point is,
That's not true.
she'd be my uncle. I couldn't say what I wanted to say, but
I mean, it's hard to stay with somebody cheating. Let's
think?
be really. Oh, without a doubt.
well, for a man, it's a deal breaker.
It's hard
For a man,
anybody.
it's a deal breaker. It ain't hard for anybody because women do it all the time.
Yeah, but
What you
that
mean
don't
for a
make
man
it
is a
easy.
deal breaker?
For a man, it's a deal breaker.
What you
I
mean?
mean, well, you know what? For me, it's a deal breaker.
Okay.
I can't speak for all
very
men.
difficult.
I
Okay.
can speak for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's a deal
Yeah.
breaker. I can cheat 100 times.
But we can't do that if we would do it. We can't do that too.
That's
We
not
can't.
true. There's a double
No,
standard.
yeah, you can't double.
It's a double standard. A man can. When I
I
say
understand what you're
I
saying.
don't mean me.
Yeah, I
personally.
understand what you're saying. But I just.
They gotta ask questions. I can cheat 100 times, right? But if a woman, and I'm not, when I say I don't mean me, right? A man can cheat 100 times.
This time.
A man can cheat 100 times. And 99, no, that's high. 50% of the time, his woman's gonna forgive him and take him back. Until he probably do it the second time and get caught, if he's stupid enough to get caught.
Okay.
But if a woman cheats, 75% of the time, it's a deal breaker for a man.
You know why?
Why?
Most of them women cheating too. A lot of them women ain't as faithful as you think they
That's
are.
why I say I can't say that.
So-
I can't
so-
say what you're
so
saying.
my-
'cause
and I'm not
I know that. I
saying-
know what it is.
But a lot of times you got women that stay. Don't sleep on them women. Women not. Let me put it this way. There's
Who
a
be
reason
creeping
to
with?
Put you to sleep to talk to them for a little while.
Who we creeping with?
You know,
But it's-
the women are not as naive as you think they are.
It's not that they're naive. It's why
Well, you know-
the average woman cheats. That makes it.
Let me say this. We got
Yeah,
women in the
it's
audience.
emotional.
Women got mics in their hands. I think y'all need to defend yourself. You got some questions, you need to ask it. Because right now, I'm just not, I need some answers. And they killing me over here. So feel free to jump at any time, ladies.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Does your opinion about a woman change based on how soon she sleeps with you?
Yeah.
No.
For
No,
me it does.
no,
Not
No.
mine.
not mine.
For me, and I'm gonna
Why
tell you
does it
why.
make a difference?
I'm gonna tell you why for me. I'm a realistic person. Always have been. I don't think I'm the one that you're gonna sit across the club and see me and go, oh my goodness, that chocolate brother, I gotta give him some. So in my mind, I'm being honest.
You're a handsome brother,
You gotta
though.
wear him down, yo.
You are a handsome
In my
man.
mind, if she is willing to give it to me on one day, right, one day, I have to now, my trust level for her is assuming she's capable of doing that again at some point. So if she goes out of town for 2 days, I'm concerned. If she takes 6 months to sleep with me, then I'm reasonably sure if she's out of town for 5 months, 30 days, I might be safe. Could be a crazy
Really?
theory. Could be a
So
crazy
you would
theory.
stick around for
If
6
she
months?
takes 6 months to sleep with
I
me, I'm
don't
sleeping
know.
with 3 or 4 other people in that time. What are you
Oh,
crazy?
I'm saying, no, I'm just saying, for my-
Hold
for
on.
me.
She asked, that's Cliff's opinion. Everybody gonna get a chance to
in,
get
in
in
other words, think about it. I don't want you to sleep with me in one day because I gotta believe that that's possible. That's your part of your character.
I just want to make it
refuse to
known that's
believe you
Cliff's
did it especially
opinion.
for me.
Yeah,
I just did.
Feel free.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. I don't see that. For me, respect that. But for me, I don't like time parameters placed on emotional things because you can meet a person and at the end of the day, know that that's the person you're meant to spend the rest of your life with. There are people who spend years with somebody, get married, and the marriage lasts 2 weeks. So it's about the two people that are connecting or in the attempt to connect, not necessarily the time frame that they're together. So my opinion about a person, if I feel comfortable enough with that woman that we take it to that level, if I feel that connection, then I'm not going to change my opinion because it took 2 days versus 2 months.
That's a hell of a conversation, though. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
that's
I'll go to a certain point with you.
I'm with you.
On that.
I'm with you.
I don't know by the end of day one.
by the end of the day.
The only thing I know by the end of day one is if I want to see you on day 2.
Exactly.
And if I want to do it on day 1.
Right, exactly.
That's all I
Y'all
know.
never,
That's
y'all didn't
all I
find
know.
it. Y'all didn't find it.
I'm
Then
with
what
you,
I'm gonna
Corey.
say-
But I mean, it
No, you
didn't
don't
find.
find.
I'm gonna say it
This
depends on
fairy
what
tale
you still looking.
fine love
But
right
you're still
away
looking.
isn't real.
Then what I'm going to say is it depends on what you're paying attention to during that day of conversation.
On day 1,
Good job.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm paying attention to. Y'all saw that, right? That's what I'm paying attention to on day 1. We can have some conversations and everything, but I want to do it.
And that's why you
It's the
go
bottom
past
line.
day 1.
But that's why you work it out
We got a
from
question.
there.
We
But
got
I
a
can't.
question.
I'm not going to judge somebody on that because I did it too.
We got a question.
So that brings me to, you've heard things about guys always knowing within a month or 2 months, pretty much what that female in their life's purpose is going to be. Do you happen to know whether or not they're going to, can you tell how long you're going to wind up being with them, or, just after dealing with them, do you know what their purpose is, whether they're going to be a jump off versus your lady?
Yep.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think just like y'all know, when I say y'all, women, it's like women know whether they're going to sleep with a man upon meeting him, and it's up to us to whether we're going to talk our way into the panties or out of the panties. We know whether you have the potential to be a wifey or a jump off. We know. We may not admit it, but we know.
I'm gonna give you a secret. We allow you to put yourself in the category you want to be put in. So you can choose to put yourself in that wife category, you can put yourself in that friend category, or you can put yourself in that booty call category. We're gonna let you decide. We may know within the first week if you have potential. At some point, your actions gonna determine what box you go in, regardless of our potential. You see what I mean? That's just being real with you. So that's just, and it's a matter of character trait. It could be different things. If you let a man start off calling you at 12 o'clock at night and you answer the phone, he come over there, you're gonna stay in that category. Very few people elevate from that booty call to that wife category.
Right.
If you allow yourself to only go out 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever, or never go out, for that matter, that's
Right.
all it is.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you this, fellas, because the ladies here, we can get them, maybe we can get some clarification. Do we ever really know what women want?
Yeah.
Do men really know what women want?
I like that answer. She said we don't know, and then that's a good.
I don't think it's about knowing what they want. It's about knowing what you want.
Here's the key for me. First of all, everybody has to understand everybody has a purpose and a role. The problem is the roles of men and women have gotten twisted. So now when you tell a woman she has a place, she gets offended. Well, guess what? I don't care if you get offended or not. Your place is not the workplace. That don't mean you don't work. I don't care how much money you make. As a woman, as a married woman with kids or no kids, your focus has to be the home. The problem is most men don't have a vision, and the woman's job is to attach to a vision and run. So most men get frustrated when the women don't go to where, but the man ain't got no vision for him to run with.
Gotcha.
So that's a part of the problem right there. But everybody has to know their role, know their function, know their place. What a woman really wants, you know what she really wants? She wants to be led. She wants a strong man that's gonna come there, and she needs to have faith in him that he's gonna lead her to the right place, not out of selfishness, but out of what's best for the family. So I'm not making decisions based on what's best for Cliff. I'm making decisions based on me, her, our kids. And that may mean I don't get my way.
Gotcha. Tony, you got anything to add to that? All right, well, let me ask you this, ladies. You know a guy, you've been friends with him for a while, but you know him to be, as the producer would say, a dog, a hound chasing a cat. Do you think this guy, the interest between you and this person grows? Do you think that he could change for you? Or do you think that he may love you or like you, but he's going to always have that potential or that urge to chase the cat?
Is he single?
Yeah, he's single.
Right.
Really?
I don't have a problem if you're single.
Well, okay, well, let me ask you this. Is there a difference
I like
between a marriage and a committed relationship other than the papers?
Taxes.
Yeah.
Taxes.
I mean,
Use the microphone.
you're married, I can't get on your health insurance. I
See?
can't make the decision if you're laying in bed on your deathbed.
I said other than paper. Other than paper.
Well, that's huge.
That's paper.
That's
That's paper.
That's hard.
Trust me, that's big.
That's paper. That's a,
No, that ain't paper.
And do you
You gotta
trust
sign
that
a
person
name
with
on it
that?
when you
Yeah.
have
When you
insurance
lying on
paper.
that deathbed and the woman you love can't make a decision for you because you haven't signed that paper, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's more than just paper. That's more, but that's if she's there, that's part of the relationship.
Well,
She's
for
there.
that, yeah, and for that person to trust that person,
Yeah.
that's big.
That's huge.
That's
Especially for a man, for me as a man.
That's more than paper.
The ceremony is my commitment to you in public, before everybody. A commitment between me and you is normally between me and you. So there's no real checks and balances. But when I stand in front of your family and God and everybody and say that's my wife forever, now there are checks and balances.
Bingo.
Because I've told the world that this is my wife. So now I can't be seen across the street, no, there's checks and balances.
There you go.
The commitment between me and you don't really mean that. I just said that to keep you happy. That's basically what it is. I'm just saying that's basically what it is for a boyfriend and girlfriend. We ain't really tripping. Cause are we really committed?
Well, you just said it 3 minutes ago. If he's
Let's just be
single,
honest.
if he's single, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're talking about single as in not married or single?
You're
as in-
single until you're
Single
married.
until you're married.
No, when you said dog,
Even when
to me that means not committed to somebody at all.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, that's what she was
boyfriend,
thinking,
No
yeah.
husband, I'm sorry, no husband, wife. But if you said that this is my girl, then no, you shouldn't be sleeping with unless that's an agreement between the two of you. Then
What does that really mean?
what?
She's my girl.
Well, there is a commitment.
Yeah, there's a
level of
commitment.
commitment there.
There's
That's
a
how you
level
get
of
to what
commitment,
you talking about.
definitely.
That's how you get to what you're talking
There's
about.
an implied commitment.
That's how you get to what you're talking about, marriage.
There's a level of commitment.
You gotta commit somewhere.
Because that's how you get to that red pole.
Wait a minute, he just hit
That
big.
makes sense.
Accountability is different.
That's exactly where I was going to go with it. I agree with you because I'm one of those who believe that there is no commitment until there's a marriage. Anything before that, you don't have to put that stress on it. A lot of people put marriage stress on boyfriend and girlfriend relationships when you don't have to. You should have a respect for a person
Exactly.
to say, hey, you know what, I can't be with just you. Now, we talked about this on the show before, that people just should have that mutual respect. However, that commitment means nothing if that person decides to go ahead and jump over here, jump over there.
And we also
or
talked
whatever.
about this on the show. That sounds good in theory.
It sounds good
But
in theory,
what man-
no,
what
because
man- what
there's
man-
still emotions and
Right,
stuff
I
like
got
that. So
you,
of
but
course
what
the
man
person's
or
still
what
gonna be hurt and
woman
offended.
Are you going to tell, I feel you, boo, you my boy, I'm your girl, but every now and then, I want to tap something else.
It's honesty. You can't be mad at honesty.
Yeah, well,
And in
Period.
today's society,
you ain't got to deal with
in
it.
today's society, that ain't that hard to find.
Yeah.
Then
yeah,
you really
you'll find
shouldn't be in
somebody
a
down for that.
relationship if you
You'll
can't
find somebody
commit
down
to
for
the
that.
person, because I
You're
can't
right.
see that
You're
the
right.
day we
Well,
get
that's
married,
a swinging relationship. I'm
things
talking about-
change.
Yeah, that's there you
That's
go.
what I don't get. If
That's
it's
right.
if
You
it's such a
don't-
big difference between being in a relationship and being married, you telling me if we get married on June 12th, our relationship is completely different from June 11th to June 13th?
No.
So
It should be.
It should be.
It should be amazing.
No, but at the
Really?
same time, just like you said, if
No, it
you
can't be.
you said earlier, when it comes to cheating.
Right.
Now, if you cheat on and she still stays with you and you're not married, then that's on you, right? So, but it's okay to do all that. But then you just mentioned if you get married that person after you cheated, well, you set yourself up for being cheated on.
Right.
So it's the same sort of thing.
Well,
she just said the same
Well, let
thing.
me ask you this then. What kind of message does it send? What kind of message do women send when they catch you cheating and they stay with you?
I don't necessarily think it's a negative message,
Yeah, no.
but by the same token, relationships are investments. And when you invested a lot of time in a person and y'all build some things, and whether you're married or not, that's an investment.
Yeah.
And you gotta think about walking away from that investment over one incident. You know, because we're human, we make mistakes. So do I want to throw away 5 or 6 years of what we had that was great, we building toward things because she made a mistake the first time? You know what I mean? So you have to be man enough to go. First of all, you gotta be man enough to check yourself and say, wow, the fact that she cheated ain't my fault. I also need to be man enough to look and say, if there are things I'm doing as a man that could lead her to be out there. So in other words, if I'm not home and I'm not spending time and I'm busy with the boys at Bike a Week and Freak Nick.
Buy a dog.
Hey, that's what you say. If that's
Right.
the case, bring your boys to the house. You see what I mean? So
Go ahead.
Is it safe to say that one of the biggest fears of men is just commitment? Do you feel that all men are just
No.
afraid of
No.
commitment?
In fact, yeah.
Go ahead. I think that most men,
Say, go ahead.
more men than you probably would imagine, want a committed relationship. The problem is finding that perfect partner, if there is such a thing.
Well, I think that's the thing. There's no perfect partner. We look
Right.
for that.
If
There's
there
no
is such a
I
thing.
think the fear is not commitment. The fear is the wrong commitment. I think is the real big thing. And so, and men are visual. Yeah, I remember men are visual. So, you know, this is great. Everything's perfect.
Hey,
I'm gonna tell you something.
You know, it's like the dog in Up. When, you know, he was like, you know, he's talking to the squirrel. You know, it's the same sort of thing. So, you know, men are visual, so that kind of thing happens. It just takes a second to remember you're in the right spot.
I don't mean to like sidetrack from the question per se, but I think a lot of times we use the terms men and women too loosely. A lot of times it's an adult male. It's not a man.
Okay,
It's an
that's true.
adult female. It's not a woman. Because a man, you don't have to worry, you don't have to question. It's the adult male that's trying to find his way into manhood that has those type of fears, those type of apprehensions and things of that. So not every guy that comes to you just because he's a certain age is a man.
Right.
And you have to be able to, and just the same way for us, that every female that comes up to us is not a woman. And you have to be able to differentiate between the two.
Right.
Because it's not until you find a woman that you can start determining if I want to be with that
Right.
person and commit to that
Right.
person.
I'm-
Some young lady or some little girl or whatever that is of age, totally different ballgame.
I'm gonna give you the rule on commitment for me. This is, and I tell this to people all the time. There's no such thing as a man that will not commit. Only a man that will not commit to you. The question you have to figure out is why won't he commit to you?
So even if you do find a committed man and you're, you know, and nobody's perfect, but you're like close to having that perfect female, what will still make you cheat on that person?
Cheating is not about you.
It's not
It has
about.
nothing to do
It's
with
not
Cheating
about.
has nothing to do with
And
you.
that's the major problem that women always think
Cheating
it's
has
them.
nothing to do with
If
you.
that man has, if that man, has, if
It's
that
what we
man,
do.
I'm about to tell you. Allow me to enlighten. If a man has certain voids within himself, if a man has certain inequities that he's not addressing, if there are certain things about him that he's trying to fill by having other people do it for him, that outside validation, that having that woman pay attention to him, that having that woman be on his shoulder, that prize, instead of filling himself with that self-affirmation, or however you pronounce the word, instead of doing it himself, he seeks it on the outside. No matter how perfect you are, it's still a void for him.
Or he
And
could
that's
just be
what
bored.
makes him go out.
Layman's
It has
term,
nothing to do
man
with you.
cheat because he wanted to.
No, it's not because he wants to.
No, but it is.
It is.
It is. No,
Everything
it
you
is.
just
I'm
said
sorry.
is
Yeah,
because
it
he wants
is.
to.
But that doesn't mean
You took a
want
long
to.
way to say it, but
Because he wants to.
you just want to.
I have,
I'm sorry.
I have a
Well,
question since we were on cheating. Thinking about the numbers, let's say if the ratio was swapped, where there was more men than women, do you think the likelihood of a man cheating will be the same, or do you think now it will be the woman that is the common person who's always cheating?
Can I
Because
tell-
there's
can I-
more access now for the females versus then
Can I-
what
Well,
the
first of all,
ratio is
cheating,
now.
first of all, is about access.
Always cheat.
I know both always cheat, but you know, right now with the norm, when people think about cheating, they think, oh, a man cheats. You know what I'm saying? First,
Because
they
we
think that
don't-
first because it's the norm
I
because
don't think-
it's more women out there
Before you go,
that's desperate, that's willing to jump into
no,
whatever.
But before you do that,
Women-
I don't
women are
think,
more-
hold on,
women
I
are
don't
more
think
discreet.
throwing statistics. Just Jim Carrey.
Finish.
I don't think throwing statistics in there is necessarily going to be advantageous to the question you're asking.
I'm not talking about-
because men get rejected 20 times more than a woman does. So it's not a matter of there's more women.
No,
available.
that evens up after a while.
Did, then they would be
There's more women.
Nah,
The fact that there are more women
After a
available
while,
doesn't
that
change it.
no, that evens up after a while. First of all, I think, but when it comes, no, it does. But I think the numbers do make a difference. Because you feel like, to a point, I guess you grow up with the, yeah, I can get it rejected 20 times and somebody still say yes, that's fine. But then the numbers do change in your favor with the yeses after a while. But I think, yes, definitely when you know that you have a bigger pool to choose from,
Right.
you're more likely to do that. Because again, for example, if I was ever on Cheaters, I got your replacement. What? Okay, you caught me.
You call me
Listen,
someone else.
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Here's the
So
thing. Here's
the numbers
thing.
there help you.
What I think that people get caught up,
Right.
women get caught up on is, I don't think that there is a shortage of men at all. I don't think that ratio you're talking about is all that great.
It's not.
Here it's not.
And in
Here-
DC?
No, listen to me. Listen to me.
It's one male, it's 28
Don't pay the statistics any mind. Here's
One male.
Here's what the problem.
One male.
Here's the
One
problem.
male.
Here's
Not
the
man,
Here's
male.
the problem with that scenario, right?
Okay.
There are plenty available men out there. The problem is, it's not what you want. You want this guy.
No, I'm with you
Not
on
when I
that.
say you, I mean women. Women look for this perfect person, if I can
But
say,
listen to
perfect
me.
man.
I'm
right?
with you on that. I completely understand that. But if it's still 5 guys here and 150 women over here,
The regard, yeah.
it's somebody-
But
100 women
again,
gonna be short.
the
period.
guy is going to take advantage.
Especially in
of,
DC.
the guy is
Numbers
going
work
to
out
take
for us.
advantage of the fact that there's more. The man isn't.
But that's what she just
Let
asked.
me say this.
So it doesn't change
I'm gonna
anything.
say this to you. Here's my belief.
Right.
Good women are not searching for men. So here's
I'm
what
not talking about, sir. I'm just saying, just in general, if you think
and,
the
and-
ratio
and when I
was
say that, I'm gonna say
Good
this.
women not searching for men sometimes end up being lonely women. Have you been to DC?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but think about it. Some of the women that you think are good may have issues. But when I say that ratio thing, they take into account men from 18 to dying age, at
Exactly.
62. So,
That's
so the
why I say it's
ratio
skewed.
is
Same for the
skewed.
women,
It's
though.
skewed, right?
It's skewed.
But what I'm saying is,
Those are skewed. It's the same thing. And women live longer. So, when all is
It is
said and
skewed.
done, the
But
numbers do kind
I'm
of
talking about available men.
But women live longer.
Yeah, basically.
It wouldn't matter if it
This
was
is an
5
all-in.
women to 200 men. we just gonna take 200 men and keep sleeping with them 5 women over and over.
I think
both sides kind of.
And so
You see
are
what I mean?
these.
I think it also depends. I think it also depends on what you have to offer as a man, because the reality is you went to the male or female thing. Let's look at that. Scientifically, women are going to be attracted to a type of man.
Exactly.
They're going to be, so if you're one of these dudes that's part of the large pool, but you don't have whatever it is that attracts women, then it's not right. It's not going to work for you.
Right.
So you got your feet in,
your
hope and somebody pays
statistics
attention.
make sense.
So the statistics make sense.
Yeah, and I told,
Oh,
and
they do.
another thing I said I didn't want to jump on, it might be 10 guys there, but half of them could be gay. So
Oh.
you still have men there,
Like,
but
you
they
still got
in the
men.
middle.
Or ugly, or
They're
fat,
in the middle. Yeah, so
or broke.
that's gonna
You
change
know how
the
y'all
ratio
do.
a little bit.
But
But that's
There's
switch
a
too
lot of
because of the
gay men.
ratio. Some women just go ahead and get what they have, and they settle for stuff because they know that there's no other man out
But
there.
you also
That's
gotta
what they feel
understand this.
anyway.
A man is gonna cheat. A man is gonna be committed, A cheating man gonna be a cheating man. Some men just gonna do what they do regardless of numbers. You know, that's just the way it is. It don't matter if it's
That's
2,
right.
3,
But-
And I
but
understand that. There's still gonna always be.
that's a certain
Exactly.
thing,
There
right.
will always be, I guess, exceptions to the norm, but I'm just saying, would you think that the normal mindset, I guess, if the numbers were switched was, oh, women cheat, you know what I'm saying, as
You know
opposed
what?
to men
we
cheat
we
all
wouldn't
the
even pay
time?
no attention. See, men don't worry about that stuff. We just go do what we want to do.
So you think your mindsets and everything will be the same if
Yeah.
the ratio was swapped?
Because we arguing enough to believe we can get 5 or 6.
Let me ask y'all this. What about these analytical women? What do you think about a woman that's always analyzing you, depicting your character,
See, my best friend.
dissecting?
Don't they do that anyway?
That's it.
That's your best friend?
Last time I
want a
checked.
woman like that.
Last time I checked.
Really?
Say nothing.
Or if you feel the
Give me
same way?
something.
You gotta find a balance. I mean,
Exactly.
at some
I
point
agree.
you gotta be able
I
to.
think
Right.
at some point you gotta have a balance.
Right.
But the balance is found within the two people.
I
Because
mean,
some
definitely
people
that.
like the overanalyzing. So it depends on the two people.
Give me his phone number. Next time I meet one, I'll send it to him.
To me, that's not a strong man.
Helps that person develop.
Right.
I don't need you to analyze me. I'm 46 years old.
You might have needed some more.
I'm being real. I'm 46 years
That's
old.
what I'm saying. At some point, what are you analyzing out
At 46 years old, you're not gonna point out nothing
that
new.
goes to
I'm being
like
real.
women, because men, think about it though, women want men to change. When you think about relationships, when men get with a woman, they want her to stay the same. When women get with a man,
Right.
they want him to change into what she wants him to mold him
To be. She
don't
wanted to
want
mold him
my- I don't
into,
want my-
however, he wasn't
So-
that when she met him.
But I don't want my
Right.
woman to say the same. I wanted to grow.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Let me say this.
That sounds good.
But can I address something?
Hold on.
You know what he said is true. And I saw y'all women say, no, y'all don't want a man to change. Y'all do. Y'all just don't know it. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Women are natural nurturers.
Thank you.
It's what you do. You gonna take this table and clean it up and straighten it up. It's a part. I'm just saying. It's just in your genetics to make things better.
You're right.
It's just
You're
what you
right.
do. That's why you make
right.
great teachers, great mothers, and we don't. We don't have that nurturing in us. So anything that you come in contact with, your nurturing mindsets make it better. So it's not that you set out to say, I want him to change, I want him to be better.
You know how
your nurturing mindset says, I want to make him better. And guess what? Let me say something for the brothers to bust their bubble. You get a good woman, she gonna make you better.
Right.
Cliff,
That's what you want. But that's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you want.
Here it is right
No,
here.
no, not at all.
Cliff, here it is right here for the women who shaking their heads. How many times have you met a man that said this brother got potential? If you said that, if you made that statement, he got potential, you already thinking,
What can I change?
how can I change him? How can I get him there? You already did it. You already did it.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. Really, at 46 years old, what you gonna tell me that I don't know? If you come and tell me something brand new now,
And
I
you're
don't
not
need a
gonna change.
girlfriend. I need therapy. If
not
you
gonna
come and tell
change.
me something right now and be like, hey, you might want a job. At 46, it's like, really? So at 46, what should you be telling a grown man that he need to change?
Ladies, what are signs that let you know that your mate is losing interest in you?
His girlfriend.
Want to have sex.
His girlfriend.
Hold on, guys.
If they don't want to have sex, like if you constantly are trying to get at them and they're just not giving you any type of intimacy, then that's a sign.
It could be a sign that he got something before he got home. It could be a sign that he got something before he got home.
That means he's really not that into you.
Yeah, still losing it. Yeah.
No, it's not.
I don't believe
That's not
that.
true.
I don't believe that.
No.
It doesn't. That's why
No,
I
it don't.
asked. Crystal, you have something to say about that?
I have no idea. I haven't been in a relationship in God knows how long. So, I have no idea.
I mean, that's the reality of it. If a man is losing interest, I mean, you'll know, but it ain't gonna be what you think it is.
Well,
You'll
let me
know.
ask this question while we're on that losing interest thing. Do you think, once you see him losing interest, that you have the capability or even want to draw him back in? Is a relationship worth it?
Yeah.
How do you go about that?
Well, one thing that you have to do is you have to figure out why the person is losing interest. And I know from, previous relationships, guys really don't like to communicate that. So it's going to be kind of hard to, I guess, capture his interest again if he's not really verbalizing truthfully what the problem really is. And I think females, like, we give you signs, red flags, and say, hey, I'm losing interest, or we'll verbally say, I don't like when you do that, can you do this, or why do you always do that, I want you to do this with me, you never spend time with me. But guys, they don't really give you, they really don't give you.
But it depends on, because I know what you guys are going to say, but I feel the opposite, actually. There's, and I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure that there's a majority of men like me that sometimes I just don't want that much conversation. So I'm not going to say anything because it's going to start a fire that doesn't need to be started. So if I'm not interested for whatever the reason is, if it's temporary, I'm not bringing it up now. There's no point to that. Because it'll start a fire, and trust me, it is going to come back later on.
Well, wait a minute, let me just interject real quick.
I don't communicate, I'm going to tell you right now.
Right, okay, so if there's a problem, right, and it starts off initially, and how can it be resolved if the other person,
It depends. It depends on what it is.
You have to understand, and if I go off too far, just
Yeah, don't worry.
you have to understand the makeup of a man. When a man has a problem, he's first picking his battle. Because sometimes a conversation with a woman is a battle. So he's picking, do I really want to go into this? Because I know if I say A, B, and C, she's doing D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And a 2-minute statement ends up being a 3-hour non-productive conversation. And I got to get up and go to work in the morning.
Thank you.
So then he's doing that. And then the second thing is when he identifies a problem, his first inclination is to fix it. So if I can identify the problem and I can fix it without bothering what's going on right now, then I'm gonna do that and just do it under the table. That way the problem is fixed. I don't have to hear about it.
Well, how do you fix a problem that you lose interest?
Because I'm going to give you the answer. I'm going to give you the standalone answer for it. Anytime there's disinterest, the problem is not with the person who's disinterested, it's with the person on the other end. If your man is disinterested, it's not his problem. It's your problem. If you're disinterested, it's not your problem, it's my problem. There's something I did in the beginning that I've stopped doing. I've gotten comfortable. So what you have to do is automatically, always, when that happens, look back to the beginning. What are you doing that you're not doing? There was a story about a little girl whose father came home every day. The husband and wife beefing. They don't like each other. Little girl met him at the door. Hi, Daddy, give me a hug. He go cut the grass, little girl go with him. He go fix the car, little girl go with him. Her mother said, do what your daughter do. 3 weeks later, he was back in love. Little daughter was giving him attention. You stop giving him attention. So when there's some disinterest, it's not that person who's disinterested who got the problem. It's the person who he's disinterested with. So we have to be willing to go back and look at ourselves and say, what did I do in the beginning? Did I change? I used to bring flowers and write poetry and cook dinner, and we've been married 2 years. I ain't bought no flowers, I ain't cooked no dinner, I ain't done none of that.
Well, we changed too. I mean,
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I know when I was married, right? I would let my second time. I used to let my girlfriend do things to me, right? But then when she became my wife, I'm sorry, that was the first time. I let my first wife do things to me, but then when she became my girlfriend, when she became my wife, I didn't want her to do it no more. I felt like it was.
You know what? There's acceptable behavior for your girl, and then there's acceptable behavior for your wife. It shouldn't be different.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Exactly.
But we just do it
But
that way.
women, ladies, that's something.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to ask for some clarification.
I think you like
No, I need some clarification.
Number one.
Okay.
But I think you're right. It is an excitement sort of thing.
Right.
Because when it's your, and I think people.
Because you understand what I'm talking about, right?
And also when it's your wife, it's like, it's every day. It's the same thing. You see the same person. And I'm saying this, I've been married, it's the same thing. We're like, both of you kind of, when you first start dating, every time you go visit, it's on, right?
Exactly.
And then
It ain't
you might stay the night,
no
couple
boundaries.
nights out of the week. So every night that you visit, it's on. But then, a little ways down the road, you staying a couple more nights out of the week. I'll get you tomorrow. and that turns into so now you realize it's not happening as often as normal. I mean, it happens. I mean, as relationships go on, it goes on like that.
Shaking your head. Why you shaking your head?
That's never.
You don't understand what?
What don't you understand?
I don't understand because I guess every relationship is different. I guess it depends on the woman that you're dealing with because, if you start something one way, like I've never had an issue. I'll use myself as an example where anything's changed with like intimacy. I guess it just really.
But you get married. It's not that it changes.
I've never been
It's that person's there all the time, so you get that comfort level of right. You know they're gonna be there. It's
Hold on,
different.
let me say this also. It's some clarification. Hold on, can I let you get it? Plus, also, you got to understand, you're younger when you think that way. When you mature, you don't think that way. When you get to that different stage in life, you look at, like Cliff said, your wife is everything she's supposed to be. However, but when you're younger, you're shaking your head no again.
I'm 31.
I'm gonna explain something to you.
You been married?
Yes.
Once you get married, there's a business to the marriage.
Thank you.
That all of a sudden creeps in your bedroom. There's a business with the bills and the house and the kids.
And have some
And
kids.
the relationship is not necessarily that.
Again, I guess it just depends on the individual because
That's what I
you
was
could
gonna say.
do whatever it
That's
is you
what I
want
was
to
gonna
do.
say.
Well,
Because
again, that
sometimes
goes
you
back to
can
the
get
numbers thing that we
complacent
talked about earlier,
with
'cause
being.
a lot of individuals are saying the same thing I just said. That happens all the time.
Like how long?
I've been in 8 years, 8 years. So it really depends on the person per se, because I mean, I guess with the grind of life, and I guess that's the problem with a lot of relationships, like you have to do things in your relationship to keep it exciting. You know, you want to do something like, you might want to be a different type of a woman when he comes home. You might want to do something. So I guess it really just depends on the woman, and I guess it has, depends on creativity. You have to do things to make it interesting. So I guess it just really just depends on
And also,
person.
we also have to always keep in mind that everybody's different. What may work for me may not work for Chris, may not work for Cliff, don't nothing work for Tony. And it may not work for Forrest.
I've never had
So,
those problems.
but, well, if you've never been married,
You still with that person?
No, I was engaged almost. Almost got married. But sometimes you just sometimes you just outgrow. Sometimes you just outgrow.
absolutely. I
People.
understand.
So don't you just answer your own question? It just took you on 8 years to outgrow it. Thank you. You see what I mean? Some people outgrow it in 2 months, some people outgrow it in 3 months. It just took you on 8 years to
But
outgrow
during
it.
the course of the relationship, though, I still believe that you have to have that like
Oh, you do.
creative,
You
the
do.
creativity.
See,
It just
with-
sometimes it doesn't happen like that.
What
I
you,
believe that.
Man,
What-
you
what-
all right over there?
what you were saying, I understand what you're saying, but what Forrest and I are talking about, you can't understand what we're talking about because you've never been married.
Maybe
Now,
you-
maybe if you had married your
Perhaps,
husband,
yeah.
you would have seen that change.
Maybe,
But if you've
yeah.
never been married, then you can't relate to what we're talking about.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, my wife was. We could have a stripper pole in the room. It really was like that. Then that left the church.
Gotta be creative.
You know what I mean? She had nuts to have it all of a sudden. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. You shaking your head, batting your eyes.
I'm just listening. He
I want to go back to this communication thing.
Go ahead.
Because usually because of y'all wanting to avoid conversations, sometimes forces y'all to lie to avoid conversations.
my lie is silence.
No.
Still a lie. Omission of the
That's a
truth.
lie. That's a lie.
Omission of the truth
Let
is
her
still a lie.
answer your
So
question.
why is it in men, adult males, man, whatever, that y'all
You know you got to clarify that.
right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Chris X over
Because
there.
it seems to be across the board, as opposed to just saying this is my makeup because I'm a man. When do y'all, I guess, allow yourself as an individual to say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about this, because you never know in that conversation. True, it may be a 3-hour conversation.
But you know what?
It may be something else that you need. If you're trying to fix a problem between two people by yourself in your head, that's not going to work.
But you know what?
No, because she's coming at me.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah,
Here's the
the hatchet came this way, so let's go.
Go ahead.
If you, first of all, you know your woman, you know, see, that's the thing. I think women really, because men don't communicate, discount how well men know their woman.
Thank you.
You really do.
Can you say that one more time,
So
please?
if you discount how well you know your man knows you, he's gonna know exactly what's gonna be said and how long this conversation. He can tell you to the minute how long this conversation is gonna be.
I can understand
So-
that, but if you know your woman and you know she likes to communicate, why not have that
Women like to
conversation?
communicate.
I'm just saying.
Women like to communicate.
Hold on a
That's
second.
the one.
Please understand that when I made that statement, I said pick your battles. So there are times when I'm coming right at you.
But how is
and
it
I'm
on you to
communicating.
pick that battle as opposed to y'all as a couple? Why is it all on you to fix it, to pick
Because
when
it's
we
on
talk
you.
about
Because
this?
it's
one?
on you.
Wait a minute.
Let me say
If
this.
you extend that
Hold on.
conversation,
Let-
you
I'm gonna say this to you. A mature man is gonna communicate. We communicate differently than you do. We're gonna always communicate, but we also know what needs to be communicated and what doesn't. There's some problems that's not about you. Now, anytime you come to me and you want to talk, I should sit down and talk to you. So we're not talking about you coming to me and saying, I want to talk about it, and I walk away. But there's some times when I'm working some things through my mind that I'm not ready to present to you because I haven't sorted them out.
Why not say that then?
Well, let me say
As
this.
opposed to say nothing's wrong, babe. Why not just say, I got something in my head that I don't want to talk about right
But
now?
it doesn't stop there.
Let me say this though.
But every woman is different, right?
Right, but can I say this?
It
There
does
may
not
not
stop
be
there.
anything wrong. See, when you're thinking there's something wrong because we're silent, that doesn't mean anything's wrong. We're just working through it in my mind. That doesn't mean we're mad. That doesn't mean anything wrong. I'm
Not
just
only
working
that,
through it in
because
my mind.
sometimes, like Cliff and Chris said, sometimes you have to pick and choose when you have those
But you're
discussions because women will say that they want the truth, but y'all can't always
But
handle
at the
truth.
same time, I can respect the truth, right? A woman can respect the truth.
no,
No, listen
here's
to
what
me.
I'm-
That's great.
Each woman is
here.
different.
But hold
That's
on.
great
You're
here.
asking the question based on your perception. If I'm with you, then I understand that you have the ability to communicate, and we
But
can
you're
have that
still gonna
dialogue.
do what you wanna-
No, it's about knowing your woman. So if you and I are together, and you're the one that I can talk to no matter what I'm saying, or no matter how good or how bad it is, you can receive it, we can have dialogue and come to some type of resolution, why would I keep something from you?
Right.
Well, now,
It
it-
depends on the woman.
There's another caveat here. Here's the thing. When it comes to communication, first of all, men fix.
exactly.
That's
We're
what I just
fixers.
said.
Conversation doesn't always fix it.
Right.
Now you look because you know, women will have this conversation no matter how many times you give that woman a solution throughout that 3-hour conversation. That conversation's still going on. So we know this.
Here's the nine
So-
out of
Hold
10.
on, hold on.
So when we have that solution, we're working it in our minds. Here's the solution. I'm gonna be cool with it and handle it from there. Now, if you say, "Well, what's the problem?" Maybe everything's cool. Well, what is it? Nothing. Well, what's the problem?
But no, but see,
Exactly.
that's still poor communication because
not
you
poor
had a
communication. I've
problem.
worked it
Hold,
out.
you had a problem. You worked it out, especially if it's between you and I. Why can't I know what the problem is?
Because the problem is fixed, and you don't want to
How do
fix
I
the
know it's
problem.
fixed? You
I
think
said
it's
it was
fixed.
fixed. I just
Right. You
communicated
think it's fixed.
That's it.
But you got to remember,
You feel me?
you got to remember though, communication. You're looking at two sides of communication.
No, I want y'all to understand y'all errors.
No, but there's two sides of communication. There's you and I talking in general communication. There's you wanting to discuss a problem with me. There's me wanting to discuss a problem with you. Right? That's all different communication, but different forms. You may be more open to discussing our problems with me. I may be, as men are, we tend to like to fix problems before we bring additional problems to the home. See, what you think is negative is us trying to take weight off of you. So that's why I'm being honest. So it's a perception thing. So y'all always think that men are sort of careless and don't care. A lot of times, we don't want to bring extra pressure to you. So if it's something that we're dealing with internally, we deal with it. Believe you me, when it gets to the point where you need to hit, oh, you're going to hit whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Because we will come there and go, hey,
We need to talk.
whose phone number is that on that phone right there? And then you're not going to want to hear it. So
Right.
we
You don't wanna talk then.
We try to fix it.
You pick and choose when you want to
we try to
communicate.
fix it. We know we try to fix it.
Individual difference because I tend to communicate the way you all communicate.
See,
I don't
that-
feel the need to
perfect.
share all of my internal
That's
feelings with
perfect. How you
everybody
doing?
else.
Fine. Great.
So I don't need to talk about every single issue that I'm having. So
Back to that.
sometimes I know you need your space to work out your own little problem, and if you need to say something, you'll say it.
Ladies, you
And-
think that men are getting a little bit too sensitive these days?
What do you
No.
mean sensitive?
What I mean by, you know,
Right.
one of my homeboys said to me today that, how did he call it? Cotton whipping? Cotton
What?
Cotton whipping? He used the term cotton whipping. What he meant by it was,
That sounds like something
what he
else.
meant by it was,
I'll find out
you know,
what
he
you
said
said.
I don't know if I can be in the room
he
with this
used,
conversation.
he used the term, cotton, he used the term cotton whipping. And what he meant was cotton whipping or cotton whipped men. And what he meant by it was,
I still don't know.
cotton whipping. It's called cotton whipping, but he was talking about cotton whipped men. And what he was talking about is the type of man that's soft. Like you go to him, you go to him with an issue, and he go, I don't know, babe, what you think? instead of being a man and say, I got you, boo.
I would say
Now,
there
hold
are
up. I'm talking.
types out there, but I wouldn't say that all men are getting soft or getting to that point. There's types where if it's like, babe, what we want to do tonight or whatever. He's like, I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Hold on.
Like, can you be a
Hold on.
man and make a
Wait a minute,
decision?
can we stop there?
Oh, I can't stand.
Wait a minute, can I address that one point? Because that's important. Can I please address that?
No, before you do, I want Chris to say, because Chris has something to say.
Please
How
remember
about
what you just said.
How about, no, let Tony.
I just want to kill that myth right there. Because let me say what you just said. A man, see what you think is a man not making up his mind this is why I say women. Women, sometimes y'all are the smartest dumb people on earth. I'm going to just say this. When a man says he doesn't know, guess what he's saying? I don't care where we go, I just want to be with you. That's what he's saying to you. He said,
Why can't you say that then?
He said it. He said it. You just understood.
But I'm saying all this encoding and all this
There's
stuff.
no
Why
encoding.
can't you just say it?
Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
Just hit it on the head. She
To
did it.
that point, this is a situation me and my girl have all the time about when we going to do something. She'll say, you lead, pick something. I'll pick X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So why am I picking?
But you know what? That's good, but that's not what I was talking about.
No, I'm talking. I want to address this.
Right.
I want to address this.
I know what you were talking about.
Yeah.
You talking to a man that won't solve a problem.
Right. That's what I'm talking
wanna
about.
address
But
what she
here's
said,
my
I'm sorry.
point. If he's doing that in the relationship, I'm willing to bet money he did it before you got in the relationship.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, a guy don't go from making decisions to now, I don't know.
But wait a minute.
It doesn't work that way.
We got to be clear on something now. We need to be clear on
So I
something.
guess the question I'm asking is how do you ladies feel about guys like that? They can't cotton whip guys.
Wait a minute. I want to say something about what y'all are terming him, because y'all sort of giving him a disservice.
I never heard of it.
There's a difference between a man that won't ever make a decision and a man who wants to run that decision to pass his significant other or his queen. The reason we run it by you is because two heads are better than one. So I should never make a decision absent of my queen.
All right, wait a minute,
Now that
wait a
doesn't
minute,
mean.
wait.
Now let me say this. Let me say this. As a man, if you're married, now I'm not saying any decision. I'm not talking about I can't buy tennis shoes. We talking about a major decision.
You might got to make that decision together.
We got to go that far.
You don't buy a car,
Hold on.
maybe without talking to your wife about it. I'll
Exactly.
give you
We're
that.
talking on that level. We're not talking about can I go to the grocery store?
It depends on what level you at.
Right, that too. But what y'all are
They
saying
got
about
bread.
these men not, it's a difference between a man that won't make a
Because I
decision.
see dudes in aisle 5 at Giant. Hey, baby. Okay.
Right.
Which
So
one?
if you
I do that.
let's say you bring a man this
You
problem.
sent me to the store for oranges. I got you oranges.
Let's say the problem is this. What school do we send our son to college? Or what elementary school we send our child to? And you say, I want to send him to this private school that's going to cost $1,600 a month. As a man, I have to be willing to say, we can't afford it, he's not going. But I also, as a man, have to be willing to look at your point of view and say, wow, I didn't realize we could actually afford it. Now he can go. So there's a thin line between you don't want no bully man.
There's just something to listen to suggestions, yes, but you
Right.
still have to be able to make a decision.
And
You
ultimately,
can't-
the man
you
has
can't,
to make a
you know,
decision.
Cotton whip is something that we're not talking
I'm talking about
a
cotton whip.
conversation. I'm talking about
a
you know,
cotton whip man.
She's coming in the room saying, these are the shirt and pants you're gonna wear today.
Oh, that's a whole
Just
different
throw
story.
them on. Well, that's what
That's what I'm talking
cotton
about.
whip is.
Oh, is that what you talking about? Yeah. Well, so you talking about.
That's why I say I want y'all just think
You ain't got no
Always
head
squad
in it.
up like a
Some
team.
men need it.
and y'all
Oh,
going out.
no.
I want to buy. I
girlfriend.
want to buy a muscle car. She want me to get a station wagon.
Some men need
okay,
it.
baby.
Some men need
can I get a?
And let me be
muscle
clear.
car station
Some men
wagon?
need that. I think some men need
We need to
that.
be clear though.
I
You
think it
can
depends
you
on the
can
person.
date your
Men
son.
need
I
that.
think certain person depends
You
on
can
who
date
that
your
guy
son.
is.
Let's be crystal
At
clear.
what point do you stop being?
Because every man ain't a man.
That's why I just said you can
So
date your son.
And
sometimes
there's
that
women
woman
out
is the
there
leader of that relationship.
who
have
looks
that.
for men
You
like
That's a
that.
bad relationship.
It is.
That's not true. It could work for
Yeah.
him.
It
If it
works
works
for
for
them.
them,
If they complement each other like
if
that.
he cool with his woman
It
doing
won't
that, it
work.
works for him.
It will not work.
Nah.
There will come a
It
time
only
where
work when he
y'all
gets-
thinking-
Because you know what? Somebody, I'm gonna tell you something. It's
Hold
gonna
on,
boil
hold on.
over. It's gonna boil over.
Let me
and
say
at
this.
some point-
You say it's a good relationship. It might work for them, but it's not going to work for them because it's going to
How
come
you
a
gonna
point
say
in
it's not gonna
time.
work for them?
It's because
It's
it's
gonna
going to
boil
come a
over.
point in time that he's going to have to be a man. A man.
He does.
No matter how
Let me
much.
ask you
Listen,
this.
listen.
Let me ask you this.
No matter how much
Wait a minute,
women want to be equal, we will
gonna
never
give you this example.
ever be
Miss
equal.
No,
decision
hold on.
maker.
I hear what y'all saying. No, I guess what I'm saying is, if that works for them, it works
It
for
ain't
them.
gonna work. It don't work for them
If
across
it
the
don't-
board
if-
because
if
there's
it's
still
working,
man
it's
things
work.
has to be
You
done.
talking about in the future? That point in time may never come, but for right now, that's working for them. During the course of the journey of their relationship right now, that's working. If that's how they feel,
You
they
know
compliment
why
each
it's
other.
working?
Somebody like that.
So
and
you
they
going
been
to-
married for 20 years.
You
All right. All right. That's.
Okay.
Well, listen, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Y Factor.
He just said that's it. That's like
If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at theYfactorShow@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good night.